Good Friday morning. Today, today is September the 8th, 2023. Wrote a book, Baseball's Top 5 Pitcher List. I looked at pitching categories. Wanted to determine which pitchers landed in the top 5 in a certain category, in a certain seasons, and who did it the most. My pitching categories: wins, innings, strikeouts, shutouts, games started, complete games, earned run average, winning percentage, and saves. I've done a couple of videos already. Wins and innings. This video, strikeouts. Which pitcher landed in the top 5 as far as most strikeouts in a season, and who did it the most? Combine all the National and American League players, combine them all together. All the pitchers. Who landed in the top 5 the most? First, let me tell you who are the leaders in strikeouts. First, career. Nolan Ryan, 5,714. That will never be broken. That's a record. A guy would have to have 300 strikeouts a year for 20 years in a row to get to 6,000. Nolan Ryan, 5,714. Today's pitchers are only striking out about 200, 250 at the most. And that's a good year. He'd have to do it 20 consecutive years. Not going to happen. Randy Johnson, number 2, 4,875, career. Roger Clemens, 4,672, not in the Hall of Fame. Why? Steve Carlton, 4,136. Burt Blyleven, 3,701. Those are the top 5 career strikeouts. How about for a season? 1886, Matt Kilroy struck out 513 batters. It's in Baseball Reference. It's there in the record books. That's before 1900 and before the American League. American League got started right after the turn of the century. The National League got going from 1876 and on. Excuse me. So Matt Kilroy for a season, 513. Toad Ramsey, 499. Number 2. Hugh Daly, 483. Depew Shaw, 451. And Charlie Radburn, 441. Look up Baseball Reference. These are the top 5. We know Nolan Ryan holds the record after the 20th century, right? Beginning of the 20th century, 383. Sandy Koufax, 382. So who holds the record for strikeouts in a season? Is it Nolan Ryan, post 1900? Or is it Matt Kilroy, 513 in 1886? Okay. Let's look who landed in the top 5 in strikeouts the most times. According to my research, and I did it in this book, Nolan Ryan landed in the top 5 in strikeouts in a season 16 times. He can lay claim. Greatest strikeout pitcher of all time, Nolan Ryan. 16 times from 1972 to 1991. He played 27 years. 16 times his name is listed in the top 5. Who's next? Walter Johnson, 14 times. Johnson had about 3,500 strikeouts. Nolan Ryan had 5,700 and more. That's about 2,200 more than Walter Johnson. Yet Walter Johnson landed in the top 5 14 times. Number 3, Randy Johnson, 13 times. he can lay claim as one of the greatest strikeout pitchers of all time. Next, Dancy Vance and Roger Clemens, 10 times, top 5. These guys, 9 times. Rube Waddell, Lefty Grove, Bobo Newson, and Jim Bunning. How about that? 9 times. 8 times, Bob Feller, Bob Gibson, Max Scherzer. Scherzer's still pitching today. He has over 3,000 strikeouts. Not in the Hall of Fame, but I feel one day he will be in the Hall of Fame. He has over 3,000 strikeouts career, and he's keep going. 7 times, Amos Russi, Pete Alexander, Hal Newhouser, Sandy Koufax, Tom Seaver, Steve Carlton, Justin Verlander, Bobby Matthews. 7 times, top 5. You know, Koufax had a short career, yet he landed at 7 times in the top 5. If he pitched 20 years, he would have been up to 10, 11, maybe 12 times. Justin Verlander is still pitching. He's bound for the Hall of Fame. 6 times, Al Spalding, Kid Nichols, Cy Young, Christy Mathewson, Sam McDowell, Ferguson Jenkins, Mark Langston, John Smoltz, Pedro Martinez, Ed Walsh. 6 times, top 5. Five times. That's my cutoff. Got to do it 5 times or more to make my book. Dizzy Dean, Earl Wynn, Don Drysdale, Mario Soto, Fernando Valenzuela, Bert Blyleven, John Clarkson, and Sam Jones. 5 times. Top 5. What do you think? Are these the greatest strikeout pitchers of all time? You got to lay the guy who can lay claim as the greatest strikeout pitchers of all time. I would say there are 3 guys can say they're the greatest. Nolan Ryan, Walter Johnson, Randy Johnson. These other guys are pretty good. You got Roger Clemens, not in the Hall of Fame. Strange. Rube Waddell, back in his day, 1900s, he pitched. He was a strikeout guy. Lefty Grove was hard to hit. Of course, Sandy Koufax, short career. Jim Bunning. Bob Feller, couldn't hit him. Strikeouts. He had 17 one game. Tom Seaver was a strikeout guy, but only 7 times the top 5. Walter Johnson doubled it. He had 14 times. Sandy Koufax, short career, I told you. But he had 382 strikeouts one year. Whew. Steve Carlton, a strikeout guy. Notice some of the other guys, they land in the top 5, but not as much. Cy Young, only 6 times. Christy Mathewson, 6 times. So they're not strikeout guys. In fact, Cy Young didn't even get to 3,000 strikeouts. John Smoltz, he has over 3,000. So does Pedro Martinez. Don Drysdale, a strikeout guy. But there are certain guys that are dominant in strikeouts. All right, that's my top 5 in strikeouts. Next video, shutouts. Who can lay claim as the pitcher and he can say to everybody around him, I'm the greatest shutout pitcher of all time? We'll deal with that pitcher next video. Thanks for watching. Ken Artizone, Vista, California, September the 8th, 2023. I'm out.